Alright, welcome back everybody. In our last video we destroyed the Gaian scum and we're going to start shifting our troops over to deal with the Morganites. So that's what we're going to do. So we need to basically just spend a few turns just moving ships. I say ships, I mean airplanes. You know, honestly, I could turn the governors on a lot of these bases, but I'm so used to just micromanaging everything that that's really the way I like to do it. So we'll continue to do it that way. But you can see, I mean, I've probably got 25, 30 planes, 23. I mean, that's going to be hard to stop. And Yang's problem is that his economy suffers really badly based on his choices for police state and planned economy. Although he doesn't actually get any negatives from those, it's hard to grow an economy with those choices. I mean, you guys have seen the difficulty that I've had with just the police state, green, you know, medium efficiency, you know, it's a little bit more difficult, but nowhere near what trying to manage an economy with Yang is. I mean, that is a struggle from the moment you start the game until the moment the game ends. Alright, here we go. So, he's actually building some nerve gas stuff, which is kind of funny.
Request confirmation.
Okay, so mind control probes are another cool thing where we can actually spend research credits, or sorry, energy credits to like take control of a place. So that might be another option if we just want to build the one, sea colony, which again we've got coming in 2
Request
turns.
confirmation.
And what I'm going to go ahead and do, because I feel like we're well ahead on credits, is I'm going to go ahead and crank the labs down to 20, get more money per turn so we can start rush buying a lot more stuff.
Production complete. Request confirmation. Production complete.
So Morgan won't last long.
Complete.
I mean, we can see what he's got here. And because we're the planetary governor, we get all the information. So, pretty weak in their capital. He does this one has several nice secret projects. We'll go ahead and base everything out of UN Commerce Committee just to have, you know, a single spot that we're staging out of. Okay, so we have our sea colony pod for our you know, daisy chained sea bases. So we'll go ahead and start moving that up. I'm going to do the drop supply in a different place, so I don't care about that. Yeah, we'll just continue to improve the economy of these smaller cities just to start
Improvement already exists.
Increasing how much money we're getting per turn. And I think honestly when we get to the hive, I'm just going to use a lot of nerve gas and just end it, because you don't want to use so much early on, even with the charter repeal, that you might have to deal with some ecological repercussions, because it can get
Drone
almost
riot.
completely it can get out of hand very quickly. Not almost. It will get out of hand.
Production complete.
Alright, let's see. I guess some police garrisons
Resource
go in
shortfall.
there.
Invalid terraform command.
Okay, so we have our people here at the Commerce Committee. We have our elite speeder here, so we should be able to take Morgan Interstellar. So we're going to go ahead and... we need to cancel our pact. So one thing we can do is maybe we can try to take one of his cities by force. So we're going to ask for Morgan Robotics. And we're going to threaten to cancel the Pact of Brotherhood. So we're going to renounce Pact. And we're going to go ahead and attack. So... So like we've done before, we're just going to clean up. We're going to get rid of any potential defenders, anything that, I mean, again, he's not going to be able to recover from this, but we want to just make sure that we're being very thorough with how we approach this.
Improvement already exists.
See, I used the nerve gas against Morgan Robotics and completely destroyed it. I did destroy all those secret projects, but I don't really care. I mean, I'm just trying to get this done. So I guess one thing we can do, and I don't know if we ever created, we never created it. I guess I got distracted. We'll do the speeder, hand weapons, no armor, drop pods, and it'll be a drop scout. So when we basically run
Request
through the entire enemy force, we just roll the scouts in.
Drone riots have ended. Production complete. Production complete. Improvement already exists. Terraform complete.
Okay, so we have our drop scout rover. You select the eye to paradrop, and we'll just get him a little bit closer because the paradrop range is not super long, but it's super effective when you have an AI that puts a lot of their cities close together. You can really start to sweep through them very quickly. We have our drop supply, so we're going to do the same. We're going to drop into here, and in order to make a drop, you will
Drone
need,
Request confirmation. Drone riots.
and you can see leaving all
Production
these cities
complete.
undefended is kind of a pain in the ass, but whatever.
Terraform complete.
Okay, so we have so this Morgan Mines is obviously undefended, so we can use the drop pod to drop in there and destroy the city. Pretty cool. Not quite destroyed it, but we're doing a number on it. Wow, we actually lost a ship. I think that's the first plane we've lost all day.
Invalid command.
One thing you can do is if you have like a coastal city like this, you can create some sea formers. And again, not relevant here for the most part, but something interesting to learn. And you can add fungicide tanks that are going to get rid of that fungus super fast. So we'll just build some sea formers, show you how that works. We could have done our regular formers with fungicide, but honestly, again, not super relevant here anymore. So clearly he's on this island by himself.
Production complete. Production complete. Drone riots. Resource shortfall.
Okay, so we've taken the Morganite capital. We'll go ahead and try to kill these pawns.
Invalid terraform command.
And so he should just be down to Morgan transport at this point.
Insufficient energy.
We can see that if we try to corner the global energy market now, it's only 45.76, just based on how much we've destroyed. Base command, Morgan transport, the only one that they have, and then a fairly decent amount of stuff for Yang, but not too bad.
Terraform complete.
Alright, so we're starting to get our sea colony pod in position. So if we're staging everything from here, we'll need to probably stick it somewhere, maybe right here I'm thinking, and then we'll stick another one here, and then we'll be within range, at least of these, so it shouldn't be too bad. Our drop scout's ready, so we're going to drop him onto the borehole, and then next turn we'll start to get resources from that borehole. And we'll start to slowly shift some of these units over to get ready for the final assault on Chairman Yang.
Faction eradicated.
Alright, Morgan's done. So, as you can see, with the exception of wealth, I am the strongest on the planet. We can take a look and see what Yang's technology level is. So you can see I'm about, 2/5 of the way through the tech tree. Yang, much worse. We had the same discover, but he has nothing I don't have. So yeah, this is quite awesome. So just start getting these guys moved, and then we'll do our final assault.
Improvement already exists.
So I've got to feel like his capital's somewhere in this range. I just can't see it from the ship. So, you know, something like huddling of the people, make a good beachhead.
Begin with the function of arbitrary.
All right, orbital spacelight's going to be cool because we can
Drone
make
rides.
planet busters. I don't know that we'll even get there at that point, but we might.
Production complete.
And that's essentially going to be this game's version of
Production
it.
complete. Terraform complete.
Okay. You can see my reputation or integrity or whatever is pretty bad. But again, that's the whole point of this. I did want to do that borehole, so we've jumped onto the borehole, and we can extract 6 minerals a year for Defiance Freehold. So you can see Defiance Freehold creating a ton of minerals is starting to get some eco damage. There are a couple of things that will help that, but honestly 2 eco damage right now is not the end of the world. I think we'll try to maybe build this.
Project initiated.
This secret project gives us another police rating, which would be unbelievable, but also relaxes our pop limit, which means we
Project
can grow a little
initiated.
more before we need to build this game's version of an aqueduct. So I'm going to go ahead and build this base here. So we'll go ahead and do that. Since we stole the planetary transit system from the Gaians, we automatically get size 3 bases off the bat, so that's pretty awesome. So now it's just going to be moving these guys over. But this is definitely an end game. And I would say victory is a foregone conclusion at this point.
Unit lacks required ability.
Okay.
Drone rides have ended.
And we'll start to really get all of our guys up to Razorbeak Wood. I do want to do... So I'm actually not going to worry about the fungicidal sea formers. I think that's can be shown in another video at some point down the line. But I am going to create another sea colony pod. And what we're going to do is we're going to probably put it maybe right in this area. And we'll just have a nice vector into huddling of the people. And I really don't even think this is going to take
complete.
as many planes as we have. Especially since I'm going to be going pretty heavy on nerve gas at this point. Because I think I can finish this fast enough to really preclude any sort of ecological issue from happening.
Production complete. Resource shortfall.
So interestingly enough, I can actually just end this game now, probably. So Unite behind me as Supreme Leader would win by a Diplo victory. But I feel like I've already gone this far, and I feel like I need to win this the right way. It's kind of nice in this game, unlike a lot of the newer games where you have, air power limits to how much you can have in each city, like in Civ 5. It's definitely nice to be able to just pile as much stuff in
Already exists.
and to really stack a doom these planes.
Resource shortfall. Terraform
Then I'm actually
complete.
going to just stop terraforming stuff. Just streamline this to go ahead and get this out of the way. So there's definitely other ways to go about doing like a naval beachhead type thing. You can do, for example, troop transports. So you could have some shielding on there. So you could carry a couple. I mean, if you had cruisers, which we haven't really wanted to even worry about, Doctrine Initiative, which is the tech for cruisers, like you could probably fit 5-6 guys in a transport. If you wanted to do that, that's definitely an option. Like, I've definitely put, heavy missile squads. Let's see. No support needed. Kinds of things on ships and made like Normandy style beachheads, but it's unnecessary. Really learning how to take advantage of the system of the unit designer. You just learn how to do things intelligently and save yourself a lot of time. So again, I'm going to put a hold on all these formers because I just don't think it's necessary at this point to continue to build these cities up. But the cool thing is that with this strategy, I mean, we don't have a lot of big cities. I mean, 5, 6, 2, 6, 4. I mean, 7 is our biggest one. That, we really just wanted to build them up just enough to have the
Production
minerals
complete.
to build planes.
Indigenous life forms.
And so the funny thing is, this has actually got him surprisingly high on this list relative to us. He's gonna get smoked. And I would like to save myself some
Insufficient
turns
energy.
waiting on these damn colony pods to get up there, but I don't think that's gonna happen, unfortunately.
Terraform complete.
You see
Resource
in this dome
shortfall.
the intermingling of
And you can
nature.
see what the hybrid forests do when you get them in. I mean, 16, which that may be pulling from the borehole, but 8, that's pretty solid, solid
Resource
spot there.
shortfall.
So we're getting close. Not too many
Complete.
turns left, hopefully. The interesting thing is, because he's
Resource
been left
shortfall.
alone, he's actually created a decent little empire for himself,
Production
which
complete.
is kind of annoying. We will be getting, however, Planet Busters, 20 turns. So we may be able to use one. It's hard to tell.
Terraform complete.
No, like if you were playing, obviously, like this strategy would not work against an intelligent human player because, or a lot of reasons. But like just for example, if we're putting all of our stuff in this one base, like I would be checking data links to see where they have the troops at and then attacking this base, because if you lose a base that has a ton of air power in it, you lose all of them. Unless they can get to another base the next turn.
Resource shortfall. Production complete.
So we've got him up here with what appears to be an impact squad. A plasma sentinel has no chance against elite transplasma sentinel behind a wall, so there's no way he could ever defeat him. So really, the criteria here is going to be getting it close enough to here to be able to drop somebody in. So I'm thinking this is probably a good spot. I mean, we could go as, you know, close as that. You know, I don't think I need a sea colony pod. We can try to drop a scout rover from there. I just don't think it's going to reach the mainland.
Terraform complete. Resource shortfall. Resource shortfall.
Okay, another thing I'm going to go ahead and do, because I feel like we got this in the bag, is go ahead and add 20% psych, which is just going to help keep people happy while we're waiting to get this done. Okay, so next turn, we'll go ahead and plot that base down.
Golden Age begun. Production complete. Maximum population reached.
Okay, so we've got Admiralty base. We'll need to go ahead,
Request
so we can go
confirmation.
ahead and buy a scout rover, and those things are so cheap. So now you can also do things like create air bases with the former. You know, which is also a possibility, but you know, the downside is you'd have to bring a former up, so you'd have to get it on a ship. You'd have to move the ship, take it off the ship, build the air base, and then you couldn't use the air base to create the drop rovers to start flooding your territory. So that's, you know, that's where these like island hop base concepts are really effective.
Production complete.
Alright, so we're
Resource
finally
shortfall.
there. At this point, I don't need anything else. And as you can see,
Cannot execute order.
I can't do that. I do want to show one more thing though, just to kind of illustrate an example. So, let's say we didn't have this base here. Like we can't, obviously I can't airdrop into the sea. I can airdrop from the sea, as I said before. let's say for some reason we couldn't establish this beachhead here. All we have was fleet anchorage. How would we be able to get our drop pods from here to there with it being out of range? So one cool thing you can do, and this is really nice, you can use this actually defensively as well as offensively. What we'll do is we'll create a former, and we'll do a drop former. So what we'll do is, let's see,
Request
we'll
confirmation.
buy the drop former, and I'll show you guys next turn exactly what we're doing. And again, it's not really going to affect what we're doing here, but it illustrates an example of some creative things you can do with terraforming and drop pods that wind up being pretty cool. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and take out factory maze with nerve gas. That's gone. And really, I think I'm going to go ahead and take out huddling other people with nerve gas as well. And then, can't even read what this is called. Greg Collective will take out tanks. Alright, so now that we have all the enemies cleared out. Okay, so he's got air defenses here, which is an aerospace complex. So what that's going to do is that's going to prevent me from making a direct insertion in. However, I can make it nearby, and because I have so much movement, I can just move in and take. What we do have to be concerned with is because these are just scout drop pods, we need to make sure that we're eliminating every possible attacker that could be coming in. So we're using nerve gas pretty much exclusively on these guys. And then what we'll do at this place is we'll go ahead and create another drop scout rover and buy it. And we'll just try to snowball from here. So we'll need to take at least some of these cities. So like socialism tunnels, we'll go ahead and nerve gas down. So we'll move some of these ships into here.
Mission accomplished. Production complete.
Okay. So at this point, we've completely given up on any sort of economic situation. Okay, so what we'll do with the drop formers is we'll go ahead and drop them here. And next turn we can kind of fool with them.
Unit lacks required ability.
Another thing I can show you, so we'll show a couple of ways of how you island hop. So there's this strategy with the bases. It's going to be the drop former strategies. Oh, actually, because I don't have cruisers, I can't. But what you could also do is add amphibious pods to the drop scout rover, and they could actually move if you had like one tile, it could move across. But we'll look at that later. That's not really relevant to this situation. So Socialism Tunnels has a lot of defenders, so that means that we'll be able to nerve gas it down pretty effectively. Some of these are our SAM, surface-to-air missile type guys, so we want to try to avoid attacking with them if possible. Now let's go ahead and just be sure. We'll check out the military command nexus with the Hive. Damn, they've got a lot of guys. They've got 101 units. Now some of them are long combat, but they do have some air units that we need to be concerned about. So they have 17 needle jets, which could pose a problem for the needle jets we have staged in their territory. So we need to find out where those are located and get them the hell out of here. ECM plasma garrisons. ECM, I'm pretty sure defends against fast units, so that's really not going to be that big a deal because we're not actually attacking with our fast units, we're just cleaning up. Outside of that, not too worried. And this is where the vast majority of their people are, so we do have some needle jets here. So let's go ahead and we'll just start taking out the low-hanging fruit.
Production complete.
Okay, so as you can see, when we destroyed this base, we left these needle jets there. So we do have some interceptors here. So let's find our interceptors. Okay. Okay. So we got our missile tactical, so we can start attacking those ships pretty easily. So we will need to have an airdrop target. So one thing we can do is actually, if we wanted to just take this out, we can move this sea colony pod maybe into this area and drop another sea base. That's probably what I'm going to go ahead and do, because I don't like the fact that he's got this many people sitting in this city. Okay, so if we wanted to, so there's a way we can actually terraform this down and be able to cross this by land. So if we have, since we use our drop former to get from here to here, now that we're on this coast, we can actually terraform this down. And so what we'll do is we're actually going to terraform it up. And when we terraform it up, it's going to raise the sea level of all the tiles around it. So it costs 4 credits to raise the area. It's going to take several turns. It's a fairly complex action, but the results are going to be pretty neat.
Production complete.
So basically I'm just going to go ahead and just use nerve gas and just eliminate as much of your guys as I can.
Production complete. Production complete.
Okay, so you can see that
complete.
little interlude, we kind of skipped through it quickly, but that's because of the nerve gas I'm using. The planet's not liking it, so we need to finish this quickly. We can look at the
Insufficient
energy market. So the hive has definitely built up a decent little situation here. But you can see he's down to 78. So he's definitely in a fair amount of trouble here. Let's see, Fellowship City. The cool thing about nerve gas is the more units they have in the city, the easier it is to actually destroy with the nerve gas. Because if he's only got one unit and it's a size 7, sure, it's going to knock it to 4, but then he's still going to be empty and you still got to find a way to take it with somebody. So we'll go ahead and take some of these just stragglers out. Okay, there's the capital. I am going to want to go ahead and take that. I lost a guy to it, which actually may have been a
Drone riots. Production complete.
may have actually been an interceptor I attacked with. The other thing is when you have the UN Charter revoked, you can actually nerf staple any kind of dissenters. So that's what I'm probably going to do the rest of the way out, because that's just the simplest solution. Alright, so their capital's down. So we can take a look, and we'll just continue to see how we're chipping away at him. So he's down to 36 land units. The air units are worrying because he could really do a number on my guys. But he's probably not within range of them anymore. Okay, so there's all his guys. So they're going to automatically default to one of these bases next turn. But if we can, they're not going to be able to reach Seed of Proper Thought, I don't think. So there may be a base here they could probably get to, but if we can eliminate Yang Mine in one turn, it's going to make it impossible for him to land those ships, and they're going to crash. So let's get over to Yang Mine and see if we can destroy it completely. Does it have an aerospace? It does not have an aerospace complex. So we may be able to paradrop into it like that. Okay, so what we really need to do is try to see if there's a base here, that if we can get it knocked out, and these guys will be marooned and they'll crash. And okay, so they do have two potential places to drop the city, or to get those air guys to, which is unfortunate. So you can see they moved them all into
Production complete.
let's see, where did they move them into? They moved them all into there. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and start moving this sea colony pod, since we really haven't been taking a lot. Because we're getting to a point where we're out of range. So maybe with these elites I can get to it, which I totally can. Yeah, actually the other thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to change my social engineering to fundamentalist, and that's going to have my morale go way up, because you can see it'll knock it up to 5. So maybe, yeah, you can see that the guy just turned into an elite. So everything's going to be elite now, which means I'll have the extended range, and maybe I can maroon these guys.
Unit max required ability. Unit lacks required ability. Golden Age begun. Golden Age begun. Production complete.
Alright, so So he's not going to be able to really attack me with those needle jets just yet. But my big worry
Unit
would
lacks
be
required ability.
is if he got him in range and he spent all 16 of those and wiped out any guys I had like at a base like this. So, you know, one option would be if I really want to take my time, which I don't want to do at this point because this game is pretty much in hand, is do AAA tracking. And we'll just create some AAA Plasma Sentinels, and those will help defend against any sort of air attack from the enemy. But as you can see, my veteran units just can't quite reach, but the elites can. Okay, so we can activate him, and we can see about possibly dropping here. And then 1, 2, 3, we're in. Hopefully our little drop former trick will be working very soon.
Production complete.
We'll see how long it... Oh, I don't want to mess that up, so we'll just keep it going. Okay, so I know it's 30% damage, but it's elite. I don't think it's going to have an issue. We'll just continue to use the extreme range of these elite craft to start to take them out.
Insufficient energy.
You can see the global energy market has now dropped over 10,000 credits, so theoretically we could win that way. But you do have to wait like 20 turns. I think we can just honestly clean these guys up pretty quickly. So the other option too, since we have all this really awesome space, we can create a colony pod, drop pod.
Request confirmation.
And then what we can do is just drop the elites into it, get a little bit more room.
Production complete.
So we can drop this. I mean, really anywhere. Drop it right there. And let's see. We probably should have taken one of these instead of killing them off. It's not a huge problem. All right.
Production complete.
So they did destroy our drop colony pod. That is going to be tough. However, so the next thing we can do to sort of help us finish off these guys, since it's getting a little stalemate-y, is now we can make missiles with our last technology. So we have the conventional missile we can go ahead and create a template for. They're cheap. They really do a lot of damage to single targets. But the real awesome one here is going to be the Planet Buster. So we'll need to go to our city with our best production, which is here. We'll go ahead and cancel the aesthetic virtues, even though you can see still 16 turns left on the Planet Buster. Just no joke. One other thing I want to do, instead of that drop colony pod, we can make a speeder colony pod. That'll be able to get there pretty fast. You can see it's kind of expensive, and we did just waste a lot of money on that other one, but you know.
Production complete.
Okay, so we can go ahead and move this guy into position. I feel like this is a good spot to found the next base. But I do think, I mean, we could try and just roll all these
Request
guys over,
confirmation.
but I really think we're going to need some AAA plasma sentinels before we move a lot of these guys in. I just think it's a bad idea to hang out 20-something
Production complete.
shit or planes when they have the ability to take them out.
Request confirmation. Production complete. Terraform.
Okay, so you can see what we just did here. This is the terraforming trick I was telling you about. We've basically raised the terrain and we've created an extension of this landmass. And so now we can drop things from into Admiralty base from fleet anchorage. So if you had trouble, and I mean theoretically we could extend this all the way down and actually create an entire landmass here. Sort of the reverse is also true. Like let's say we owned Admiralty base and Great Collective was here and owned by the Hive. We could actually lower the terrain and create a waterway, which would actually be used for defense. So I've actually done that particularly in the expansion, because you can get up against the aliens early and be in a lot of trouble. Dropping that terrain quickly can put a body of water in between you and theoretically make you safe for a long time. Because then you can stick some ships on the edge where the water is, and then if they try to make like a beachhead, you can just attack their transports. So
Insufficient energy.
you know, that's a pretty cool little trick. So we'll wait one more turn,
Maximum population
and we
reached.
will grab one more
Request
AAA plasma
confirmation.
sentinel. And I feel like that should
Production
be
complete.
sufficient. And then we'll start moving them in. I will go ahead and use these elites. And also keep in mind, we've done this with missile guys. Like, and that's not even, like, that's so low on the tech tree. You know, I think we could already upgrade him with that orbital space flight, because I believe you actually can upgrade him to 13 attack, but honestly, it's just not. I don't have the money, and it's not necessary right now. So we'll just move these for right now. If they try to make a major attack against us, we'll see. But they did not. So. I'm not entirely sure where all his planes have gone. There's 12 of them, and they're somewhere around here, so we'll go ahead and finish off this sea base.
That's required ability.
Alright, so we've got some formers blocking zone of control. Not a huge problem. So we'll go ahead and look at base status for them. So they've got manufacturing warrants, and they have some place called Deep Community, which I don't know where that is. So one cool thing we can do with our ships is do a little exploration.
That's required ability.
Let's see. So one thing we can do, I think we can do it at this point in the game. I'm going to cancel the Planet Buster because they don't have anything left at one city. So I'm going to create an aerospace complex. And at that point, I believe we can launch.
Production complete.
We can launch a satellite, and that's going to reveal the rest of the map. So Defiance Freehold. If we can even do a satellite yet, which is... Okay, here we go. Sky Hydroponics
Request
Lab.
confirmation.
So what that should do is that should give us the ability to see the rest of the map.
Sky farms are fantastically beautiful.
Okay, cool. So we now know the Deep Community is way the frack over there. So... Well, we got a couple options here. We can send a... Oh, that's so annoying. That is so annoying. Alright, so I think honestly what we probably should do is, and again, it'll just illustrate some more cool concepts,
Production complete.
is we will take the drop formers, and I'm thinking we can probably drop in close enough to create an airbase.
Production complete.
Nope, I don't think I can do that. Because I could probably get from here to here on an air base. So I don't know, with the elites I probably could. So let's build some drop formers.
Request confirmation. Production
And let's drop them as far as we can. Which is going to be right here. And I'm hoping they don't attack it. I mean, they might not even see it.
Production complete.
Which I think is likely going to be the case. And then what we'll do is we'll go to terraform and we'll build an air base. And it's going to take 10 turns. So we'll just blow through these turns.
Production
What we
complete.
can do is control and enter.
Maximum population reached. Maximum population reached.
The Isle of the Deep is really not a single creature.
Production complete. Production complete. Maximum population reached. Production complete.
And we'll just
Combat complete.
continue to burn through turns.
Production complete. Maximum population reached. Production complete. Production complete. Production complete. Improvement destroyed.
And again, I'll admit, I get pretty lazy toward the end of the game when I'm trying to just clean up.
Indigenous life form.
But there's only so many ways you can deal with some stupid place like this.
Maximum population reached. Maximum population reached.
Okay, so I guess leaving those turns was not,
A ship
Maximum
at
population
sea is
reached.
its own world.
for some reason it wasn't moving that airbase forward, so.
Maximum population reached. Maximum population reached. Maximum population reached.
Okay, so 5 turns.
Maximum population reached. Maximum population reached. Production complete.
So we should be a couple turns away from the airbase.
Maximum population
This is
reached.
kind of what happens at the end of the game.
Terraform complete.
Particularly when you haven't developed like a massive navy, and of course they've stuck another place there. Okay, so we have our air base. The good thing is that those bombers can't actually attack our air base because it's not a city. In all those turns we wasted, we actually gave them the opportunity to build another base, so I'm hoping that this doesn't become a cat and mouse thing, because I'm just too lazy to deal with what I'm too lazy to deal with.
Maximum population reached.
Okay, so he'll have actually an ECM plasma garrison there in 1 turn. So I do believe, so you can see they're fueled up, so we can kind of have this air base as a staging ground. So we should be able to take this. they'll move into the Sea Hive next turn. That's kind of all she wrote. I referenced it earlier, but we'll go ahead and just finish it off with a kamikaze. So if you were desperate to kill a city, you know, this is going to go back here because it's running out of fuel. You could cancel the orders, and you can see 11 out of 22. It's going to die this turn if it doesn't get back to the airbase, but kamikaze. And we win.
Faction eradicated.
Alright, so 23-21, not super fast, but we did waste a lot of turns here at the end. And we can see our score. And it'll go into the Hall of Fame. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was a little bit long, but it's a nice illustration of the Spartan forest tree farm needle jet strategy. Yeah, so just like my channel if you like the videos. I'm probably going to do a couple more Alpha Centauri videos. Going to do some Civ 2 soon. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Look forward to hearing from you, and take care, everybody. Goodbye.